Welcome to the Main Dish with MD. I'm your host, Marlon Davis, and today we are talking about the current state of the real estate market. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Yeah, that one right there. And you know what? Tell a friend. Tell a friend if you like today's episode. You know, back in the 70s, we wanted to move on up to the east side to that deluxe apartment in the sky with George and Wheezy. In the 90s, we were trying to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad to see how we could become Mr. Philip Drummond. And despite the claim of good times with temporary layoffs, easy credit ripoffs, and scratching and surviving, we are trying to make it rain in the real estate industry. And today I have three incredible people here with me to talk about it. First of all, I have Onaje Barnes. We call him OJ. He's the owner of Barnes Marketing and Estates. He's been a real estate investor for 13 years and has accumulated 11 properties, including 29 rental units in the Houston area. Welcome, OJ.
Hey.
Next, we have Kerri Parker. She is the CEO and team leader for Keller Williams Cedar Park. She is the president of the National Association of Residential Property Managers. She's the president-elect of the Women's Council of Realtors. She is on the finance committee for Williamson County Association of Realtors. Welcome, Kerri.
Ms. Parker.
Hello. I'm a little bit of an overachiever sometimes.
And there's like three other things I didn't list about you because I wanted to save time for the actual questions.
It's all good.
Off that tough, Ms. Parker.
And next we have Derrick Sherrard, who's a senior loan officer at NRL Mortgage. Welcome, D.
What's going on, my people?
Hey, we're doing wonderful today, man. I appreciate you guys coming out. But before we get started, we're going to break into our episode called WTD. What the dish? All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and read off some ingredients. You guys, as soon as you know the answer, put up that piece of paper and let's see if you guys got it right.
Okay.
The first ingredient, 5 ounces of grilled chicken, 1 tortilla, half an avocado, 1 teaspoon of goat cheese, 4 teaspoons of mozzarella cheese.
Wait, can you see that?
1/4 cup of black beans, 1/4 cup of bell pepper, and fresh cilantro.
Can I just shout it out? It's.
Fajitas. We got fajitas. We got queso.
Come on, D.
Tacos. Well, I mean, you guys were all in the same realm, but that is avocado and chicken quesadilla, which can be found on Fit Men Cook by Kevin Curry. So, you know,
got that book.
You got that book?
Wait.
I got the book. I got the app. It's a great app. They have delicious menus and healthy stuff as well. So if you don't have it, check it out. Kevin Curry, Fit Men Cook. But that's one thing. Mexican food is my favorite food. You can do a lot with those ingredients. So the fact that you guys went.
I live in Texas and not like Mexican food.
You guys went all
for real.
Florida.
And shout out to Kevin, the class of 99. What's up,
Absolutely.
There
Class
you go.
99 represent.
Goodness.
Well, guys, I want to go ahead and get started and say, man, thank you guys again for coming out. Right now, a lot of things are going on with COVID. And as we talk about that, first I want to learn how you guys got started in the industry. OJ, how'd you get started, my brother?
All right, I'm going to try not to be long-winded, but during the first recession, my company, I used to be a buyer at Foley's department stores. If you remember it, they merged with Macy's. 25,000 people got laid off. I was lucky enough to quickly find another job, but the biggest thing I noticed was that older people was just getting laid quicker than the younger people being able to find an opportunity. So I said to myself then that I did not want to be left caught slipping or just being, getting holding the bag. I was just engaged. So I just quickly just started learning about passive income and side hustles. Good friend of mine, one of my mentors recommended Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is kind of a common book among real estate investors. Read that book, learned about passive income, and I'd say within a year, bought my first personal home. And it was a rehab, and spent a lot of money, learned a lot, and that's how I got started.
Awesome. Yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think everybody either had a copy or definitely heard about that book when it came out. Kerri, how'd you get started?
Actually, it's not the most glamorous thing. I got fired from a job. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was working crazy hours and not being appreciated, not making enough money. And it was one of those things where it was just an opportunity that all the stars aligned. And I decided that was the right time to get my real estate license and just kind of went from there.
Awesome. Derrick, what about you? How'd you get started? Because you've been in the industry for quite some time, which is relatively unheard of in your line of work.
First of all, I want to shout out to all the educators because I believe it's a calling. It was just not my calling. I was trying to walk the path of doing education because that's really all I was qualified to do when I got out of college. And one of my fraternity brothers turned me on to AmeriQuest Mortgage. I'll never forget it. And I went into the real estate finance world, and that's where I've been for the last 15 years. Many times I've thought about leaving, and I've been through many, I don't know how else to put it, but traumatic experiences in this industry. But I think the greatest thing that I can say to anybody, if you can last in real estate finance, that is an accomplishment in itself.
That's absolutely true. Well, seen a lot of mortgage brokers come and go.
Oh yeah.
Well, D, you doing it, so kudos to you, my man, by staying in there. Sometimes you have to make that switch. Gotta change clothes, then go. Girl, I promise you, no substitutes, just me. Anyway, before we get sidetracked, man, let's go ahead and jump into it. How has COVID impacted the real estate market? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Is it a good time to refinance? What's going on? Let us know. Kerri, what's going on with you?
I'm not sure about where OJ is, but in Austin, real estate's still kind of crazy. I've been working longer hours since COVID hit than I was before. The main issue we have here is the new builds and the trades. So inventory is kind of an issue just because a lot of the trades got sick, and so the houses weren't being built as fast as they were before. So you do have a lot of multiple offer situations now that you didn't have before because there's a lot of people looking for houses. Either they're downsizing or they're upgrading or they're moving multiple generations into homes. But real estate is still kind of rocking where I am.
And Kerri, you're in Austin or in Cedar Park, so yeah.
We do everything from Killeen to San Antonio.
The greater Austin area.
Yes.
As I just named it, because I've never heard it called that, but I just named it the greater Austin area.
That's kind of what it is now, yeah.
D, what about for you, man? What's going on at NRL?
NRL is still rocking and rolling. Like in the beginning, I felt like they were preparing for like the worst because a lot of times back in like 2008, 2010, and 12, we saw a decline whenever we saw like things like the collapse, the subprime bubble, and everything bursting. So everybody was preparing like as it might affect us now, but it's been rocking and rolling. I have found a new niche as far as doing refinances with my existing and most new customers. And
push myself in quicker.
So I mean, like right now, my life.
He is the man in the refi game.
My life has been switched from. I started doing refinances in the beginning. Then I started wanting to do purchase business with, wanting to work with realtors, builders, people like that's on here now. Now all of a sudden, this is a season of refinances. I mean, rates are incredible. Everybody, if you don't work with me, that's fine. Call your local bank. Call a friend. Call anybody that's in residential lending right now and refinance your mortgage. You'll thank me.
Oh, what I heard was he's too good for us now, OJ.
No, he ain't too good for me.
I ain't too good for him. We in
I
progress.
still rock with him.
We in progress right now.
We're partners right now. You got to show me that cash. Show me the cash.
So D, that was a good piece of advice. So it's a good time to refinance with low interest rates. Now you said you can visit you or you can go see other people. Now, would it be beneficial if we did reach out to you?
Ooh, bam.
Absolutely.
After you close on my property first.
And I mean,
you're greedy.
especially to all my lifetime Longhorns, I got you. I mean,
Yeah.
I want you to feel comfortable. That's my only goal. I want you to feel comfortable going through the process. I want you to understand that I have an extensive knowledge of what I'm doing, but I'm also about like your comfort. If you're comfortable with me, I say reach out to me. But if you're not, then I understand. It's no hard feelings. Right now is a good time for you to refinance your house. And even if you want me to do checks and balances, I can do that as well. I can tell you what's going on in the market. I can quote you an interest rate. I will not quote a rate on right now, but if you call me, I will definitely tell you where the rates are and, how it can work for you, over the course of your loan. So it's important like right now where everything is very, 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 the rates are great. So it's in your interest to take advantage of them. So call me.
I see what you did there with interest. It's in your interest. It's in your interest are these interest rates. OJ, you're biting at the chomp to get in. What's going on with you? You have multiple properties, multiple rental properties.
Yeah, I probably have a different take. I see the same thing that Kerri is seeing. Inventory is down, prices are up, nationwide. Houston prices are up. Same thing with Derrick. Interest rates are super low, so it's a great time for people to, reevaluate their financial circumstances. You could probably save a couple $100 by refinancing. That's what I'm personally doing in my personal portfolio. I probably spent the last 6 months literally calling bank after bank after bank for different deals. So that's been my personal deal. But from a total real estate perspective, I believe that interest rates are cheaper because of what the Federal Reserve is doing and pumping a lot of money into the system. And because of that, that's actually, and the whole CARES Act, you have a moratorium on foreclosures and evictions. And so that's actually reducing a lot of the inventory to what Kerri was talking about. So I'm seeing the same thing. However, it's a game of musical chairs. And at a certain point, how long can the government continue to pump this amount of money and reduce interest rates, frankly, artificially? I don't know how long that's going to last. So I have a more negative outlook in the future around where things are going to be. And because basically jobs matter. So from my perspective, my tenants or my residents, as I like to call them, they're having a little bit harder time. My vacancy is fine. My collections are decent, but they're not as good as they were before COVID-19. And I don't see that ending in the short term. So for me, my personal goals is to actually acquire capital right now, because for me, it's about to be buying season. And I bought the majority of my properties during the last financial crisis, and I see myself buying a lot more in the short term.
So is it a good time to buy a house in Austin, Kerri? I'm going to talk to you specifically because
I think it's right now is a wonderful time to buy a house. But I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased, but I will say that I do agree with OJ. It's going to get a little weird over the next couple of months because there are people who are in forbearance. There are people who are extending their payments who maybe shouldn't have, or who don't understand that when you're selling a home or when you're buying a home, that home may be in forbearance and you have to pay all that back before you get to buy it. And so there's going to be a lot of weirdness coming up that people didn't expect. And so there's going to be a lot of homes that are probably on sale for a lot less than they should be coming up in the future. So OJ's absolutely right. But as far as purchasing, the great thing about it is summer is always a purchasing season in Austin. So you start in spring, you go through summer, it knocks off a little bit because of school. Everybody goes back to school. Well, we kind of don't really have that right now. And so people are still looking and they're still buying. And so as far as purchasing, I think it's a great time. You just have to go in with the expectation that you're not going to get to negotiate. You're going to pay what the house is worth because somebody else wants that house too because of the level of inventory.
What about, is it a good time to sell your house?
Fantastic time to sell.
It's an amazing time to sell. You're going to get multiple offers on your house. Absolutely.
So I want to sell and buy. Why am I talking about what I want to do? Let's talk about what I'm over here. Wife is like, oh, he's talking about.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and yet I haven't gotten a phone call. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Throwing that out there.
Well, have I done anything yet? No. So you don't have to worry about a thing. And speaking of which, there's like 87,000 real estate agents in the Austin area.
Let's see. Last time I looked, there are 17,000 realtors in the Austin MLS. And that's just in the MLS. That doesn't count for real estate agents. There's probably another 5,000 of those. Yeah. There's a lot of us.
I can probably name at least 12 that I'm friends with.
Yes, there are a lot of us.
It's a crazy thing, but it is awesome. OJ, you're investing in the real estate market. How did you get started investing, and give us a couple of tips?
For me, I just kind of hustled. I just really committed. I got educated first. So first thing to do, get educated about the process, about what your goals are. So for me, it literally was, I'm all about generational wealth. So I wanted to be able to hand my kids something. I wanted to be able for them to go off to college and me not struggle around figuring out how to pay for college. And just, if I pass away, I wanted to give them something. So it started with that. I would say, as far as getting started, we just started on our own personal home. We bought a ugly home in a good neighborhood, and we put about 30, 40 grand into it, and boost our old school sweat equity, as they call it. So from there, we pretty much bought one home a year for like 6-7 years. And there's a lot of great ways I rolled up my sleeves. For me, it wasn't glamorous. This ain't flip my house HD TV stuff. This is old school, leaky toilets, painted multiple houses by myself. But there's a lot of ways to get involved. I think you, Marlon, actually was a big inspiration for me on learning one of the easiest ways to get involved is through house hacking. And I don't know if you know, but you actually were one of the first people, like you were house hacking when I was in college. I remember you had a home and several people rented from you at different times and just rented out a room. Way for someone to get started in real estate investing to help. The whole goal, like investing, and I'm a buy and hold investor, by the way, and that means essentially landlord. The idea there is just how can you get someone else to help you pay off your mortgage over time? And that's just a really, really simple way to get in. Again, it's kind of called house hacking. Buy a duplex, rent out the other side. Buy a home, buy a 3 or 4 bedroom home, rent out a room to your homeboy or whatever. That's a great way to get started.
I just have to say, I hate Home and Garden television for that exact reason.
Why is it? What reason is that?
Expectations. Unrealistic expectations. I mean, I'm a school teacher and my husband works at the local grocery store, but we're going to buy a $500,000 house. Come on now.
Yeah, that's all nonsense.
And when you say he works at the grocery store, he's like a bagger.
Yes.
not the GM of HEB.
No.
Now, there's nothing wrong with having that job, but
there isn't.
Their
but
financial
you got to temper your expectations. And I know OJ's probably seen this a million times, but if you ever watch one of those Flip This House shows where they don't tell you any of the back end stuff, they don't tell you that you have to get a hard money loan and that you owe money weekly or monthly on top of the mortgage, and you're paying like 6 or 7 different trades. They don't tell you all of that. You don't see all the ugly stuff. You just see the, oh, look, I flipped the kitchen and it's so pretty. That's not realistic. It's just not.
For those that don't know the hard money loan, buying a house with a credit card, like 15.
Oh, yes.
How do I know? Because I've done it before, and it'll stress you out. So no fun, and don't recommend it for newbies.
Well, look at this, OJ. You know that credit card you got back in college and they offered you the free T-shirt?
I remember those.
Right?
Yeah. It's working now, see? You got it way back when, got your free MasterCard shirt with a little horn on the pocket.
I know, right? I had a couple of those too. They're gone.
Oh, D, are you seeing these?
Lines of credit only, right? Right, D?
Yes.
Call me. So if you're in that kind of situation and you need to refinance to a more traditional product, that's what I do. I'd love to get you out of that hard money situation, because the reality of it is, just like credit cards, you can always transfer those credit cards into something different where that credit card can now work for you. Because, your credit history and your credit score is what's going to get you to where you want to be. That's just what everything that Onaje and Ms. Parker are talking about. It's really talking about how you're going to build your credit. Your credit will be your wealth. Your credit will get you into places where you will normally not be accepted. So, while you're getting these high interest credit cards, as he's calling it, like a hard money loan, you can take that and use it to your advantage by getting with a person like myself and refinancing that mortgage. So we can drop that and put it under a reasonable interest rate. When rates decide to go up, it'll still be better than a hard money interest rate loan. So
Now, you talked about credit scores. D, what kind of credit score should somebody look to have when they're buying a home? I know it's going to depend. We're not going to hold this to you. Audience, don't hold him to what he's saying now, but what's kind of the average credit score people should look to have when they're buying these houses, or like OJ, investing in houses?
So for a person like that's trying to buy let's say they're trying to buy their first home, their primary residence, I believe you should try to be between a 620, 640 credit score. If you're trying to go into like real estate investment, I think you're better off being at around a 680 to 720 credit score. Because a conventional loan, you have different type of things that we look for whenever we're trying to extend a mortgage to a customer that's going for a conventional loan versus a person, a first-time home buyer. It's just a little bit different. If you're about to buy your first home, between 620 and 640, of course, the higher the better. That's how I look at it. It makes your process a lot easier. So, but if you're trying to go to the investment side, we're only going to give you up to 80%. So you need to be at a 680, 720 because you want the loan to go through smoothly and not us have to tell you that we cannot help you. So,
general rule of thought, I just like to recommend people to, one, respect the process. This isn't like buying a car. Sometimes people want to go in. Oh, I want to buy a home, and then 30 days later they want to go buy a home. 9 times out of 10, if you do that, which is possible, you're going to end up in a bad deal. And so to me, just if you got consumer debt, if you got ugly consumer credit card debt, pay that mess off before you go shopping for a home. If any type of ugly debt you got, pay it all off, and over time your credit score goes up. So I'm big about respecting the process.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And I see Kerri had to jump off and go ahead and sell a house. KW, they never stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Never. Can't stop, won't stop. Appreciate you coming back in.
Moved to a different house.
Yeah, she's moved. She's moved on up to the east side. Got that deluxe apartment. D, well, let's get back to you, man. I know you were talking a little bit about the credit score during the process. What else goes into that process? I want to make sure that the listeners kind of understand what's going on, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are nervous, scared, have questions. Tell us about that process a little bit.
It's very, very, we have to keep it simple. I don't want anyone to be afraid to just start. That's the biggest problem I see. You have to just start. You need to get in contact with a person like myself or a loan officer. And our job is to educate you through the process, just to let you know that we're going to ask you about your income situations, your credit situations. That's how I was trained. Credit collateral capacity. Your credit is your credit score. It doesn't matter if you start off at a 400. The goal is to get you to a point where your credit can work for you. I have not always had good credit. I'm not afraid to say it. I went to UT and I was the person taking out the credit cards when I should not have done it. So I was behind the 8 ball before the game even started. But the reality of it is, when you get somebody that can give you motivation and educate you on how to build your credit, before you know it, your credit score will go from the 4s and all of a sudden you're into the 7s. And now you can command a stronger buying presence. Now you can go talk to the real estate agents, the builders, the Everybody is in play now. But the first thing you have to do is start. Do not be afraid to come to the mortgage doctor. I'm going to be your doctor. I'm going to prescribe you what we need to do to get you on the right footing so you can become a buyer, so you can become a homeowner, so you can become an investor, things of that nature. The first thing we have to do is start.
Well,
I won't judge you.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. There's only one MD on the show. You can't be the doctor too.
I could damn sure be a PhD.
There you go. Well, we'll come to, hey, that's awesome. Because I'm sure there are, like I said, a lot of people that are nervous about that process. It's good. We're going to get your information later. So if people have questions, they can reach out to you, come to you regarding that process. But credit scores, and, it's very interesting you said that. Those T-shirts, getting people to get those credit cards. I think it's having a credit history is a good thing, but a good credit history. And oftentimes we as young people, I know when I got my first credit card, my dad got me one on his account way back when. And it's like, man, I could like swipe it and I don't have to pay anything.
Like free money.
Like
free money?
Free money.
What? And thank goodness back then my dad was like, why in the hell you got $75 at the Brown Bar? Don't you got some money? I was like,
oh, Brown Bar.
Yeah. But he was like, boy, stop that. And I was like, okay. He helped me out during that process, and it's good. But you get those credit cards at that young age, and whoop, whoop, whoop.
I mean, I made them all. I mean, admittedly, when I first decided I wanted to buy a house, the first step, like to Derrick was saying, you got to get started first. I mean, I had a 480 credit score. Like, I remember that to this day.
Oh.
It was atrocious.
Don't say it like that, Kerri.
Because it's terrible, right? Like, it's
I mean, she's probably seen
a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and but you got to make that commitment. You got to make that decision, because the first thing is like, what is your credit score, right? And then how do you improve it? Easy, pay your bills, right? And I was one of those silly college that I had an express card, buying up a bunch of jeans I can't fit into now. And
you've always been fashionable, OJ.
I try. but again, fashionable at a 22% interest rate ain't smart either, right? So you got to make those decisions and jump into it. And there's never a bad time to start. I mean, the best time to start is yesterday. So get out there and go do it. Find out what your credit score is. Find out the things that are bringing it down. Pay your bills and get going. And today,
it's just good to see what the credit bureau is saying about you. A lot of people, I don't try to say anything disparaging about Credit Karma and things of that nature. I think those are great indicators. But if you come to apply with a person like myself, I'm going to give you what the credit bureau is saying. I'm going to let you see what TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian is saying about you, what's being reported on your credit report. So you can look at it line by line, and we can have something to work off of. So let's get started. I'm very patient. I'm not going to, again, I don't judge anybody because I was in the 500s. And I'm talking about low 500s. So I have a lot of empathy for people that are afraid to go look at their credit scores. It's just like going to the doctor. You have to make that commitment to just start.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good
shop around. That's my biggest advice. Shop around. Sorry, love you. And full disclaimer, I've done a couple deals with Derrick, so I fully recommend them. However, always shop around. I keep a lot of lenders in my phone on speed dial, and you never know. Yep. Each bank is always different. So not to hate on any particular bank or whatever, but I always shop around because I think at a point, if you actually do have good credit, then know your worth. Go to lenders with confidence. I always shop around because I always say, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. Oh, you said no? You said no? You said no? Okay, fine. I'm going to go until I find someone that says yes to the terms that I want. Because I am the consumer. I am the boss ultimately in this transaction. So that's one of the big things I think a lot of people, particularly people of color, they have a problem with, is that they like, well, will you lend me this money? Will you give me this? Will you give me that? No, if you're bringing the money to the table as the buyer, you are in charge. And so that's a piece that people sometimes forget. Don't be afraid to shop around it for any of the vendors.
Kerri,
a huge thing, and I will say a huge thing in Austin is that we have such a large group of people who are in the service industry. And one thing the service industry doesn't know is they're in a perfect position to purchase a home. They make enough money to purchase homes. They just never see themselves in that aspect. And the problem I come up with a lot of times is when you first start doing catering or waitressing or bartending or whatever, they tell you, ooh, don't claim all your tips. Well, that's good when you're paying taxes. But when you go to look for a home, they go off of what you claim in your tips. So if you're claiming you're making $50,000 a year, but your taxes say you're making 20, they're going to take that 20 as opposed to that 50 that you're telling them. So I always tell industry people, you have to make sure that, you have to make sure that you're about a year out or 6 months out to when you want to purchase a home. Start claiming everything because that is really important.
Great
point. I think just for
disclaimer
purposes, you should always claim everything. But a tax you should claim what you know. Claim. Now, do what you do. But
now, with that said, yes, reality is people don't. I mean, it's reality of the situation.
Yeah, that's a good piece of advice. Are there any secrets? Are there anything man, OJ, you mentioned reach out to multiple lenders. Kerri, what's the secret word I need to say to get me a good deal on this real estate?
When people are buying right now, they buy in what I like to lovingly call the donut around Austin. That what'd you call it? The greater Austin area?
Yes, the greater Austin area.
Well, because you're in Austin, average home price in Austin is like $450,000. So your first time home buyer is not going to be looking for that. They want that donut that's on the outside of Austin. And in that donut is all new build. And most people are like, oh, the sales agent was so nice to me and they're so great. They don't care about you. They're trying to get a commission. And if something goes wrong on that build, they're not going to be there for you. They're there for their company. So always, always, always have a real estate agent with you because they know the tips and tricks. I know what to ask for. I know what builders will say yes to what. I know what free things you can get. I know what can be thrown into contracts. I know what you can negotiate for. And most people don't know that when they go into a new build, you can negotiate. Super easy. If you have a realtor behind you, all that stuff's already taken care of because that sales agent knows they're not going to be able to get more out of you than they can.
And as the CEO of the Cedar Park KW, the president-elect, what are your accolades going on out here, Kerri?
I got a couple titles. There's a few of them.
Well, sure, we gonna come to you with all them plus.
Please do.
I'm gonna have an opposite tip. I mean, this whole game is about relationships. Who do you know, right? Who do you know? Who's in your phone? So to me, it's very simple. Let people know that you're in the game. Again, a lot of people of color, particularly people of color who have less net worth than other people who are not colorful. We don't like to share information, right? Many of our friends randomly, hey y'all, just bought a house. Oh man, I didn't know you were hunting for a house. This is for me, this irks me so much when I see my friends. I'm like,
agreed.
Because you just wanted to, it's not a competition. Let people know that you're in the game because you just never know. And the game could be, investing or buying your first home or your second home or whatever. The more people you let know, the more your network might come back to you, right? And you never know who's in your network that might have some skills that could help you out with or might have some insider knowledge. And so for me, I mean, some of my best deals as far as purchases have literally because people know that I'm in the game. So it's like, hey, OJ, I got this house. It's not going to hit the market or whatnot. Do you want to bid on it? I probably get, I kid you not, at least 40 emails a week just from wholesalers saying, this house is now on the market. It's up for sale. Are you interested in purchasing it? And I kid you not, I get at least 40 to 60 a week. And that's just because people know that I'm in the game.
Well, I think that's, OJ, you actually hit the nail on the head. That's what this is what the main dish with MD is about. That what you said right there is what this is about. And I'll tell you, it was probably a year and a half ago, Mewell and D, you and I talked about this. I happened to see Mewell in Chicago randomly on the street. Go figure. Haven't seen him in a couple of years, but saw him randomly. And we started talking about NRL and his position that he holds with NRL. And I said, you know what? It's a shame that we had to meet in Chicago for me to learn that you're doing what you're doing right now. And we're connecting. We're connecting right now. And you learn so much. And as you mentioned, OJ, we as people, we don't like to share our financial information. We don't like to open up, but you know what? Opening up can save you a couple of dollars here and there.
Absolutely.
When I say a couple times, thousands of dollars.
Talking thousands.
Yes.
I just think it's super cool. I just think it's super cool to connect with people besides like socially. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think this is awesome. It's more to us than just like going to a football game or just our college lives. We're in the world right now, and it's like I'm excited just to know that Ms. Parker's doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of that. You know, I celebrate everybody on here because in my mind, the world is a better place when everybody is moving forward. But you can't move forward in silence, and that has been my ultimate problem. I was the opposite of what Onaje was saying. I'm like, look, I'm gonna keep it to myself. I do real estate finance because in my world, the word no that's what you hear a lot of. You're told no all the time. So I mean, after a while, you kind of like deflect and you try to like you put your guard up and you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna beg people to do this, and the third. But now that I've grown into my own self, I understand like, hey, look, let me tell you what I do. I work in finance. This is my career. You know what I'm saying? I would love to assist. I'd love to help. I mean, I understand now that everybody is not going to use me. But on the flip side, there might be somebody that can use me. So.
Right. And that's we have this connection going on right here. But if you're watching, connect with one of the people on here. I mean, I don't have – all these people are amazing. All these people are amazing. I've known them for years. And so if you don't know them, again, we're going to put up their information later in the show of how you can connect with them. But
or just connect with somebody in your own network. Like that's a big one to me. Is just, it's important for me. I've got multiple realtors in my network. My wife has been a realtor for 12 years. There's some deals that we haven't used because it was more advantageous to use another realtor. Same thing with loan officers. I'm in a deal with D right now. I've got several loan officers in my book, in my repertoire. He's offering the best deal for me right now. So hey, that's how we're gonna make money. And ultimately, as a people, I just personally believe in circling dollars among people that I know.
Exactly.
I'm a firm believer in that. I'd rather give. As a matter of fact, I'd rather pay a little bit extra knowing that my dollars is going to someone I know versus someone I don't know.
So we've talked about real estate a lot. Kerri, give me your success story. Give me your success story in the industry. But go.
So my success story. My success story is kind of a surprise. I am the CEO of a Keller Williams branch. I didn't know until I got the job in March. And I didn't know until after I got the job in March that I was the first Black CEO of Keller Williams. Not something you think about. It's 2020. Why would I think that would be a thing? But apparently it is. And I was not even aware. The way it works is there is an owner of the brokerage, and then I work under the owner. And never in my life, like this is the first job I've ever had where I have felt completely 100% supported. Like she is the most amazing person in the world. And I'm at a company now where with all the craziness going on, I'm in a position where I can speak my mind now and I can say things and not have that fear of losing your job, which I know is kind of weird because we've all been in those jobs where you're like, there's some things I should not say right now.
No, not us, but more you speaking your mind. Oh Lord, your owner must be amazing.
I know it's scary, isn't it? It's scary. I know it's scary, but I have that now. And so the really cool thing is within the real estate industry, especially in Austin, I can now go and recruit minorities and go, hey, you now have a voice at my brokerage because I'm changing things and I'm out there and I'm doing this now and you can come be here with me. And there really hasn't been that in Austin. And so it's kind of cool to have my own little piece of history and my own little leg up to everybody who's trying to come up behind me. So that's my success story.
Dee, what's your success story?
Longevity.
Yeah, for real.
Like I said, like you have a lot of highs and lows. I've done at this point in my career, I've done thousands of deals. So I mean, they're all have, you always have some people that stick out in your mind. But the ultimate thing, I've won all the trips, I've won all the competitions. I've done that, like the accolade part of it. Getting financially, going here, going there because I won competitions for the month. But my greatest joy is, like I said, staying into the industry, because it was many times when I was on all kind of like job hunts, looking like keeping one foot in the mortgage industry and one foot outside. Like, man, what can I do? Because, again, this is a financial industry. It's a financial sector. So I look at W-2s and tax returns and pay stubs for a living. That's what I do. So after a while, when you're like, what? Well, you start respecting everybody's grind. I like the mailman, the FedEx workers, any kind of job. I've seen it because those are the people I work with to get qualified to buy a home. So again, my biggest takeaway is I've survived. So, I mean, I've been in this industry for a long time. I mean, right now it's a great season for me. I'm just keeping my mouth closed and keeping my head down, working. I'm working with Onaje as we speak. So, I mean, to me, it's a blessing. Anybody that would like to work with me, call your boy. I'm here.
Awesome. OJ, give us your success story. You probably have many of them.
Yeah, I've had a couple that I'm proud about. We bought a 21-unit apartment complex last year. And
wow.
We're really excited about that.
Let me stop you real quick. So I think earlier you said a 480 credit score?
Yes, correct.
480 credit score to a 21-unit
apartment complex.
It can happen. It can happen. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it can happen. Say something. Go ahead.
Yes. So, again, I echo some of the things everyone also said. I'll to get to that 21 unit, my biggest success story literally happened 2013. The market was still down, slightly coming up. A good mentor of mine, again, networking. This mentor, one of my frat brothers, he's the same guy that put me on to Rich Dad Poor Dad, and actually was my broker to purchase our first home. Random conversation, called me up. We're talking about a play date with our sons. And I'm like, hey, what you doing? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, man, I'm going to go talk to this lady. Her husband died. She's got 20 properties, all in the same neighborhood. I said, oh, really? And again, it's just network. And I'm like, well, what she got? She trying to sell this? Oh, yeah, she's trying to sell it all. She can't handle it. She's older, blah, blah, blah. Son's not really ready to handle it. I'm like, okay, well, can you send me the Excel file, whatever? Sends me the Excel file. I'm looking through. Again, this is 2013. I really didn't have a whole lot of capital. I had a good job that I felt decent about. I had some company stock. Matter of fact, I'll just tell you the details because I'm an open book. I had about 50 grand to my name. Like, this is what my family has. Like, this is it. This is all we got. And he sent me the deals, and I'm like, look, I saw the prices, and we worked out some numbers, and I was able to look at 2 homes for 21 grand a piece, including his fees. So I was able to purchase 2 homes for $42,000. I mean, this is not shacks. Like, these are decent size, 3-2 standard 1,100, 1,200 square foot homes. And he worked the deal. He got paid pretty nicely on this deal. But essentially, my point is, I spent $44,000 to close of my total money, $50,000, and we bought this deal. And I remember specifically telling my wife, who's co-owns all this stuff with me, I said, "Hey, I'm about to spend pretty much all of our savings on these 2 homes, and I had to buy them sight unseen. Like, we were not allowed to go in; they were occupied." And part of the deal was the lady didn't want to disturb the tenants and let them really know what was going on because her husband kind of ran everything and he had passed away. And so part of the deal was I had to buy a sight unseen. So all I could do was literally just drive by. I couldn't knock on the door. So literally I'm driving by. I'm like, well, the yard looks good. The roof ain't bad. The AC ain't bad. Bump it. Let's go. And literally I remember specifically talking to my wife in our dining room. I said, hey, babe, I'm gonna spend pretty much all of our savings to buy 2 homes. I don't know who's in them. I don't know what's wrong with them, but this is the best deal we're ever gonna make in life. And she said, you feel good about it? I said, yeah. And she's like, hey, go.
OJ, you sound like a man of faith.
Hey.
You have to be.
So yeah, I bought those
man
2
of faith.
and I've gotten, recent appraisals at $260,000 for both of those homes. So, I got about $200,000 in equity in those 2 homes. They allowed me to buy that apartment. So that was the best deal I've ever made.
That's awesome. Hey guys, well, awesome. OJ, if people have questions, man, OJ is a wealth of knowledge. When we've talked on the phones during house party over the past 4 months, he keeps dropping real estate knowledge to me. A couple of our friends have followed his advice in Dallas, buying apartment units, in New Orleans, buying houses, rental houses. So, and that's under your guidance and knowledge that you've mentored these people. So kudos to you, man, for sharing your knowledge. But if people have questions regarding any of this information, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, you can reach me at bmarketingllc@gmail.com. I'm a pretty much an open book, and I'm all about this right here. So, wealth. Let's go get it.
LLCs and titles. I love it. Mr. Derrick Sherrard, how do people reach out to you if they want to connect regarding the mortgage loans and that information?
You can call me on my work phone, 832-783-9871. Again, 832-783-9871. And if you feel comfortable reaching out via email, it's derrick.sherrard, SHERRARD, at nrlmortgage.com.
Like you said, you gotta start. You gotta start. Go ahead and reach out to Derrick. Miss Parker, Kerri Parker, how do people reach out to you if they have questions, want to buy, sell?
Easiest way is just look up the phone number for KW Cedar Park, and they will find me. If you want to email me, it's Kerri, KERRI.Parker@KW.com.
Awesome. Guys, I appreciate you. Now it's time for the fun part of the show. Who wants to go first? Kerri, I'm going to circle right back to you. I'm going to circle right back to you.
What's the question?
Give me your top 2 favorite quesos.
Oh.
Or give me 3 because you like, give me 3.
That's a hard question. Okay.
I know it is.
So there is a Serrano's down the street from my office. I love their queso. They've got like spicy salsa and spicy queso, and it's awesome. So I love that. Who else has good queso? Oddly enough, Kirby Lane.
Not oddly enough, Kirby Lane.
Remember when we were younger and we all used to go to Magnolia at 3 o'clock in the morning and have the queso at Magnolia? Well, I go to Kirby Lane now.
Hold on,
we're grown. We don't
3 a.m.
or at 3 in the morning. We're grown. Kind of, sort of.
Oh, OJ, give me your top favorite quesos.
You know, I roll with Torchy's. Torchy's Tacos got the best queso. They put that wasabi or something in there. Man, it's fire to me. I don't need to go to a fancy restaurant for queso.
Okay. Is that it? You gonna just stick with Torchy's and Torchy's only? You got a number 2?
I mean, everybody, I like Papacitos. I like whatever, but Torchy's to me is like significantly higher than everyone else.
Torchy's is good. Torchy's is good. D, what you got?
We got Torchy's. Onaje is a genius. We already know how we get down road with the Torchy's. And last but not least, my Aunt Joyce. She makes the best queso in the world. Shout out to Aunt Joyce.
Aunt Joyce.
Texas. Aunt Joyce, we love you. Stay strong. She's fighting, but when she makes her queso with that rotel in it,
Gotta have some rotel.
We might have to.
Oh, of course.
somebody gonna have to slap their mama. Somebody.
OJ, we're gonna circle back to you with the next question. Give me your top 3 favorite combos. When I say combos, like I like the number 5 from Whataburger, or the number 6 from, Chick-fil-A. Sandwich and fries or entree and fries. What are your top 3 favorite combos?
Okay, so I'm gonna start because we've had a Mexican food theme, and I'm a big fan of the fajita taco combo from Taco Cabana.
Ooh.
I'm a big fan of that. You get some queso with that too.
The chips and queso. Okay.
But you can get some queso with that. I'll roll with I don't know the number, but I'll get the spicy chicken sandwich combo from pretty much anywhere. But I'll definitely roll with. So whoever has a good spicy chicken, I'm rolling with that.
Okay.
And let me see. I'm trying to get off these burgers. So no.
You can go 3 for 3 on burgers. It's just the best combos.
Yeah, any kind of combo. The chicken fingers from Whataburger is solid too.
Okay, there we go.
I gotta have
anything.
fries.
I didn't haze you up about the number 2 because you didn't really say a favorite place with your chicken sandwich combo. Give me something.
Now, well, they're closed on Sunday, so I don't want to give them pub.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say Chick-fil-A. That's that place.
Chick-fil-A.
There you go. D, what you got? What are your 3 favorite combos?
3 favorite. Let's just wrap it all up in one for time's sake. Shout out to where I went to college, Austin, Texas. We're gonna go to a place. It's gone but never forgotten, called Players.
Players!
Oh, Players! Yes!
That's a mic drop right there.
Talk about this.
That's a mic
You
drop.
want to talk about the best 2 a.m. food? That's it right there.
Man, we talked about Players on the last episode.
So hardly home, but always repping. So
Yes.
I had the steak sandwich and a shake. There's nothing else to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
if you know, you know.
You don't.
Because that shake would come out before all the food would come out. You'd be over there in the corner like, take your time. Kerri.
Oh, yeah.
Kerri, what we got? 3 favorite combos.
Okay. So I will say for burgers, my favorite is always going to be my favorite. The Whataburger number 5 with a strawberry shake. That's how I roll.
Okay.
Yes. It's awesome. But I have a new favorite place. They just opened in Austin. There's one by my office and one by my house. It's called Tumble 22. It's a chicken place. And it is awesome. It's a Nashville hot chicken.
Oh, my God.
And it is awesome. I swear the chicken's like on steroids or something because they're huge. I don't know what it is, but it tastes good. And they got good mac and cheese. So, you combine those 2 together, it's just awesomeness all the way around.
Boom. There you go, America, man. Y'all got me hungry over here, man. Remembering this Players. Ooh, that Players go in.
Tumble 22, Marlon. You got to look them up.
Tumble 22.
Yeah.
I'll check them out. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming out today. Great episode. Again, you guys reach out if they have questions. These are very open and honest and likable people. So please feel free to reach out. Remember to promote, support, and encourage your friends. And like I always say, it's more fun when the homies have some. Appreciate you guys. Peace.